Indian music is said to have originated in ancient times as a confluence of three broad streams: music performed in temples for devotion, music performed in palaces and royal courts for entertainment, and music that flowed freely in farms, fields, and forests for its own sake. At its core, it celebrates the Vyakti, individual, the part, and Samashti, collective, the whole, both fueled by a primal energy manifesting as Naad or sound. VishnuNaad is an attempt to experience this primal energy through a conversation with K S Vishnudev, an acclaimed Carnatic vocalist and recipient of the prestigious Ustad Bismillah Yuva Puraskar from Sangeet Natak Akademi in the year 2022. His performances have taken him across the globe, including the USA, Canada, Europe, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, Malaysia, Singapore, and the UAE. This podcast conversation meanders through some soulful compositions sung by Vishnu in his melodious voice, where he shares his personal philosophy of music, what it means to him, and how it is manifesting through Nisarga Art Hub that he and his wife Lakshmi V are co-creating amidst the paddy fields of Angamaly, Kerala. Welcome, Vishnu, to this conversation.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
And Vishnu, welcome to our home in Pune. And thank you so much for taking the effort to drive down from Mumbai today morning. 4 hours of ride. I hope you enjoyed on the way for having this conversation.
Absolutely, my pleasure. I really wanted to do this.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about it for some time. I think we got in touch with each other before the recent Margari festival started. If I'm not mistaken, sometime October, November of 2024, when we got in touch with each other, thanks to kind introduction done by our mutual friend Vijay Natesan.
Yes.
An amazing musician and a mridangam artist. Both of you have played and performed together, I know, and we had the privilege to have him on our podcast, earlier.
Yeah, I've listened to that. Yeah.
And thanks to Vijay, we spoke to each other, and glad we have brought it to this stage.
Absolutely.
Vishnu, having somebody like you, a prolific singer in the Carnatic music scene today, I had a bit of challenge in terms of how do I hold this conversation. And what kind of helped me out is to revisit the theme of the season 5 of our Wings podcast, which is where we are having this conversation. And the theme is exploring India and Indianness through various facets of life and living. And so happy and pleased to say that hopefully in the next hour or so we should be attempting, at least I will be attempting to explore the idea of India and Indianness through the world of Indian music.
Sure.
That you represent.
Sure.
And as it happens in all Indian traditions, everything starts with an invocation and a prayer to the gods to bless us.
True.
To engage with a conversation that hopefully should happen. So can I request you to begin this conversation with a small, a prayer or...
Krishna ni begane baro Krishna ni begane baro Krishna ni begane baro Krishna ni begane baro 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 Krishna ni begane baro begane baro begane baro mukhavannu toro begane baro mukhavannu toro Krishna ni begane baro Krishna ni begane baro Krishna ni begane baro 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 Krishna ni begane baro ತಾಯಿ ಕೆ ಬಾಯಲ್ಲಿ ಜಗವನ್ನು ತೋರಿದ ತಾಯಿ ಕೆ ಬಾಯಲ್ಲಿ ಜಗವನ್ನು ತೋರಿದ ಜಗದೋದ್ಧಾರಕ ನಮ್ಮ ಜಗದೋದ್ಧಾರಕ ನಮ್ಮ ಉಡುಪಿ ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣ ಜಗದೋದ್ಧಾರಕ ನಮ್ಮ ಜಗದೋದ್ಧಾರಕ 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 ನಮ್ಮ ಉಡುಪಿ ಶ್ರೀ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ನೀ ಬೇಗನೆ ಬಾರೋ 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 ಕೃಷ್ಣ ನೀ ಬೇಗನೆ ಬಾರೋ 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 ಓ begane baro
Vishnu, with such an invitation, with such an intense call, I have every reasons to believe that Lord Krishna, wherever he is, and of course he is everywhere, he is amongst us, and I'm sure he'll guide us through the conversation. So thank you very much for this soulful rendition of Krishna Ni Begane. When I think about Indian music, I mean, not that I'm an expert, but yes, as a rasika, as a shrota, I have played my own part in enjoying and participating in Indian music, and whether it is vocal or whether it is instrumental. But one thing I have kind of always felt is there is this idea of sangama or confluence in the Indian thought. Like two streams of river coming together. So Alaknanda and Mandakini, the mighty rivers coming together at Deva Prayag and becoming the holy Ganga as we know it. And there are confluences of all kinds.
True.
I feel that Indian music, probably if I were to imagine the primary sources where it would have probably emerged, the first thought comes to my mind is music that emerged in the temples of India, as a way of expressing devotion to the divine. The second stream I kind of see as civilizations evolved was the music that was sung and performed in the palaces, the darbar music as they call it, where there would be the noblemen, including the king, who would be listening to a performer like maybe a Tansen or whoever. But at the same time, there are ordinary people who are also invited in the same space to enjoy it. Largely, probably that took the shape of music for the sake of entertainment, unlike the temple music, which is for the sake, probably for devotion.
Right.
And the third stream I see of Indian music is the music that emerged in the farms and the fields and the forests. The folk music or the folk tradition, as we call it, which probably is beyond any labels.
True. Probably
nothing to do with devotion, nothing to do with entertainment. So as a musician, if I were to invite you to reflect upon this thought of how music has evolved in this land called India, what would you say?
Interesting way to start this discussion, because Indian music has always been about confluence, about collaboration, about co-creation. I would like to believe, or I believe, that it all started from folk music, because music existed as tunes in the past. So we have had multiple tribes, because India is a land of different tribes, different communities, right? And for them, music was a language. Music was a means to express. I think that's fundamentally where it all started. And then we've had music, as you said, as a means to seek something deep, and the music was a tool for that. So I think we have a lot of ragas which are basically inspired by different tunes from folk music. And then it took, when it came to classical music, it all took some shape, some grammar, and as you said, then when raga came into the picture, raga is one powerful tool, or what in fact represents Indian music. So now that we have raga, we use it for, again, different people use different ragas for different purposes. Some use it for spiritual quest, some use it for entertainment, and those days, I think even 500-600 years back, the courts had a lot of music. So music evolved through all these different ecosystems, I would say. And now we have modern day, like classical music, which has folk elements. And I'm basically a Carnatic musician, so Carnatic music is centered around compositions which date back to 300 years, 400 years. We have many compositions which are 400 years old, and we have modern day compositions as well. So now in the modern day Carnatic music, that the music that we sing today, we have devotional elements, we have folk elements, we have entertainment elements, all under one umbrella.
How was your own first tryst with let me not say music, the world of sound?
Mm-hmm.
When is it that, do you recall your early memories when it touched you, which said that, Vishnu, this is something that you should know? Do you recall any moments which...
I think it is difficult to pinpoint a specific moment.
Or any influences in your early days which kind of have held you on the path?
Yeah, music was always in the air. In my family, everybody used to sing. And every function that we had music in it as an unavoidable aspect of my life and my family. And I have to thank my family. I mean, that was where it all started for me. And I don't remember any part of my life which didn't have music.
Okay.
Primarily because my father always used to sing. He's extremely passionate about music. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it big as a musician, but his life is all about music. He wanted to become a musician, but those days, he didn't have the right opportunities. He was one among 10 siblings, and then he had a rough childhood, and those days it was all about survival.
Yes.
And music and arts, everything, was considered a luxury. So he couldn't learn music formally. But then he used to take me to concerts whenever he could, wherever it was. So we would go to concerts to faraway places, like 2 hours, 3 hours commute for one concert. But those concerts are still fresh in our memory. Nowadays we have access to a lot of concerts. Every day we can listen to concerts online, or more concerts happen these days. But then I still remember those concerts which I went with my father.
Yeah, I resonate a lot with you because, as a 10-year-old, I used to live in Mumbai, and there was this small institution called the Dadar Matunga Cultural Club,
Mm-hmm.
where there would be, Indian classical music, the Khyal music, it would be performed, and it will be small groups, 30, 40 people.
Yeah.
I mean, and then we would have Pandit Bhimsen Joshi, or Kishorita Yamunkar, or Jitendra Abhisheki, doyens of Indian classical music. At a touching distance, you could touch and feel them, and they would be, squatting on the floor just like the audience, and those would be soulful performances. But then you went on to also pursuing formal academic education. You took a career, took up a career in IT as well, right?
Yeah. So with all these inspirations, I don't know when I exactly came into the world of music. It was a very organic process. It just happened.
Correct.
Just like arts itself, just like any art itself.
Correct.
It was not a forced process for me. I didn't practice music just because I felt I had to practice. It was more like I felt like practicing. I felt like singing for hours. So it was like when I listened to a concert, it was a lot of inspiration that made me sing. I wanted to sing like them. I wanted to sing all those ragas. It gave me immense joy. And when it rained, I felt like singing. When there were clouds, I felt like singing. It was like singing was a natural process for me to express myself. And I didn't know all these things. I didn't know these were expressions, or these were responses to what was going on around me. I think that's the power of music. It just takes you.
Yes, and this country that we all love and call our homeland, called India, in addition to music, what is also a part of our life is films, movies.
Yeah.
And unlike movies in the West, which of course in the 40s and 50s, those were mostly musicals, but post the 50s, I think music somehow vanished in Western movies. But music has never left Indian movies since the first time a talkie was made in the 30s. So almost 100 years we have come, and music is so integral part of every Indian film, whether it is made in Hindi or Marathi or Bengali or Gujarati or a Bhojpuri or a Punjabi, or all the languages in South, Kannada, Malayalam, Tamil and Telugu. And I remember there was a time in the 90s I had shifted to Bangalore for my career, and there was a movie called Kadalan that came up, and A.R. Rahman was announced to the world. Of course, he came with Roja, but then Bombay and then Kadalan happened, and I understand nothing of Tamil even today. But every time I would take my car out, I would put an audio cassette, because those days cars had an audio cassette. There was no CDs. Of course, there was no MP3, so no pen drives and no USBs, but then there was audio cassette. So the Kadalan cassette would always be in my car, and my 3-year-old son would, every time I start the car, he will pull out and put that cassette in and play a song which was a favorite for me, my wife Asha, and my son. The words, I may get it wrong if after hearing it so many years. Ennavade, Ennavale.
Ennavale,
yeah. What a beautiful composition. And I mean, I'm tempted, Vishnu. Sorry, you are a Carnatic musician, but if I could request you to, sing a few lines just of that song, that would be personally a lot to me.
I will try.
Please.
This is definitely a favorite of mine too. But fair warning, I'm not that much into film songs.
You're not a playback singer. You are a foreground
but
singer.
I do sing film songs just for the fun of it, just as a hobby, because I love them.
Of course.
Ennavale adi ennavale endan இதயத்தை தொலைத்து விட்டேன். எந்த இடம் அது தொலைந்த இடம், அந்த இடத்தையும் மறந்து விட்டேன். உந்தன் கால் கொலுசில் அது தொலைந்ததென்று உந்தன் காலடி தேடி வந்தேன். காதல் என்றால் பெரும் அவஸ்தை என்று உன்னை கண்டதும் கண்டு கொண்டேன். எந்தன் கழுத்து வரை இன்று காதல் வந்து இரு கண் விழி பிதுங்கி நின்றேன். என்னவளே அடி என்னவளே, எந்தன் இதயத்தை தொலைத்து விட்டேன்.
Kya baat hai, kya baat hai. So beautiful, so beautiful. And now the greedy Shrota in me is not going to give up on one more of my favorite Tamil song, which was also in the 90s from the movie Mundram Pillai. Mundram Pillai.
Yeah.
And this was made into a Hindi film called Sadma. This beautiful song. Kanne Kalai Mane. But what has stayed with me is the Hindi version of that song, written by Gulzar, which is Surmai Akhiyon Mein Ek Nanna Munna Sapna De Ja Re.
Yeah.
What a beautiful composition by the great Ilayaraja, sung by Shri S.P. Balasubramaniam. Can I invite you to sing that song? Either the Tamil version or the Hindi version, whatever works for you.
I'm more used to the Tamil version.
Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Again, I can try.
Please.
கண்ணே கலைமானே கண்ணிமயிலென கண்டேன் உனை நானே. கண்ணே கலைமானே கண்ணிமயிலென கண்டேன் உனை நானே. அந்திப்பகல் உன்னை நான் பார்க்கிறேன், ஆண்டவனே இதைத்தான் கேட்கிறேன். ராரிராரோ ஓராரிரோ, ராரிராரோ ஓராரிரோ. கண்ணே கலைமானே கண்ணிமயிலென கண்டேன் உன்னை நானே. கண்ணே கலைமானே கண்ணிமயிலென கண்டேன் உன்னை நானே.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Vishnu. A little while ago, you used the word compositions. Now, just now, we heard two beautiful compositions, though coming from the world of films. You are a part of compositions from the world of raga music.
Right.
As a musician, as a singer, what does a composition do to you? And what does the composition makes you do, if I could ask you?
So in Carnatic music system, it has been evolved over centuries, right? Mostly through compositions. So we've had pre-Trinity composers, we have Trinity composers who are Saint Tyagaraja and Muthuswami Dikshitar and Sri Shyama Shastri. And then we have had post-Trinity. So Trinity composers have contributed a lot to the world of Carnatic music in the form of many compositions. And devotion has been the common thread. So when I hear a composition or when I learn a composition, there are many effects. That is, one is the melodic effect, how they have used ragas to convey their thoughts, and mostly these were composed for their own spiritual, as part of their own spiritual quests. It is basically a language for them to express their bhakti. And then but when I listen to these compositions, one thing is I always relate to how their relationship, I always try to imagine how their relationship towards their favorite deity could have been. I try to imagine, I can only imagine, right? Then there is something that is personal to me, because music is, I mean, I can only imagine how their relationship with the God must have been or could have been. But there is always something that it gives, which is personal to me, like me, which is different from that relationship which they enjoyed. But music is, once they compose something, or once I compose something, it is primarily, it is a way for me to express something, but the person who hears it develops a different relationship with music, because it is close to their heart. It is about how their heart interprets it or enjoys it, reveals on it. So there are two different types of relationship which I feel, which is one through the imagination of the composer's relationship with the God, and my own experience of that music, which is extremely personal to me. So I, depending on the situation, I try to, and this is a very spontaneous art form, Carnatic music especially. Each day, I mean, I can sing the same composition every day, but the feeling may be different. Unlike, or I don't know about film songs much, but speaking as a Carnatic musician, every day it may be a different emotion that I feel. It is not the same emotion that I feel every time I sing the same composition, because the ragas, these compositions give that scope to the performers as well as the listeners to experience it differently each time they hear the same songs.
You know, in Carnatic music, whatever little I understand and know, singing at a kacheri is an ultimate experience both for the performer as well as for the listener. I mean, what I also understand is kacheri is an assembly of musician and audience in the context of Carnatic music, and it is presented in a concert format. The definition of the kacheri goes, and I picked it up from Wikipedia, says that the music fraternity of connoisseurs and common people assemble at a kacheri to listen to classical music concerts of vidwans. Now, I know you've come back from an extremely busy Margali festival, 2025.
Yeah.
And you have had a series of performances there.
True.
And I think a lot of your performances was covered by the print media as well. And there was one that I came across, was an article in Hindu. I think it was on 1st of January 2025. The article is titled K S Vishnudev Exuded Confidence in Raga Treaties, written by a reporter by the name Mr. G. Swaminathan.
Right.
And what you just said now a moment ago about how it is a personal relationship of a performer in the Carnatic music system with his or her inspiration,
Right.
whatever it may be, maybe spirit, God, energy, whatever you may
Right,
want to
right.
call it. It's a very personal dialogue
Correct.
between the performer and the source. And Mr. Swaminathan, towards the end of the article, writes this, and I'm going to read out.
Mm-hmm.
He says that the singer concluded his recital with Innudaya Barade
Mm-hmm.
by Purandaradasa. I presume it's a composition.
It is a composition, yeah.
So, I don't know whether you remember that concert of yours where you actually picked this to conclude your concert.
Yeah, yeah.
What made you pick this? And if you could also sing a line or two of those.
Okay. So, as far
And
as...
what is the meaning of this composition, and why did you place it the way you placed it on that day?
So it is basically a composition in Kannada by a very famous composer, Purandaradasa. We consider him as the father of Carnatic music. And this composition is a plea for mercy. And he was a Vaishnavite, and it's a plea for mercy to Lord Vishnu. And then that day I was, there was no, I cannot say there was a particular reason why I chose this composition. I always, when as far as the selection of songs is concerned for a particular concert, I look at different things. Mainly, I want to make sure that there is enough contrast between each composition, be it the mood of the raga, be it the tempo of songs, or be it the language. Carnatic music gives a lot of scope to variety, because we have had composers from many parts of India.
Correct.
Right, and many different languages. And unlike Hindustani music, we sing a lot of compositions in concerts. So typically a 2-hour or 3 hours concert will have at least 8 to 9 compositions. So we have opportunities to display a little bit of everything, so usually the typical standard concert format has a composition on Lord Ganesha. We usually start with a prayer to Lord Ganesha, and then we have many different compositions by different composers in different languages, in different talas, this particular composition is one of my favorites by Purandaradasa. It's in Raga Kalyana Vasantam. It's a very, very emotionally rich raga and composition too. So at the tail end of a concert, we usually pick very emotionally rich ragas where you can express yourself very beautifully. And that's probably the reason why I picked. And then also, I don't know which was the main piece on that particular day. I would have chosen this composition because it gave a good contrast. Yeah, I think... I sang Saveri that day. So this naturally gave a lot of contrast. That's probably the reason why I picked this song that day.
Can we have a glimpse of it?
Sure. I'll start from with the Anupallavi of the song and then
Sure.
come to Pallavi.
Sure.
ನಾನಾ ದೇಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನಾ ಕಾಲಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನಾ ದೇಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನಾ ಕಾಲಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನಾ ಯೋನಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಲಿದು ಪುಟ್ಟಿ ನಾನಾ ದೇಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನಾ ಕಾಲಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನಾ ಯೋನಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಲಿದು ಪುಟ್ಟಿ ನಾನು ನನ್ನದು ಎಂಬ ನರಗದೊಳಗೆ ಬಿಡು ನಾನು ನನ್ನದು ಎಂಬ ನರಗದೊಳಗೆ ಬಿಡು ನೀನೇ ಗತಿಯೆಂದು ನೀನೇ ಗತಿಯೆಂದು ನೀನೇ ಗತಿಯೆಂದು ನಂಬಿದ ದಾಸನ ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನು ದಯ ಬಾರದೆ ದಾಸನ ಮೇಲೆ ಪನ್ನಗ ಶಯನ ಶ್ರೀ ಪರಮ ಪುರುಷ ಹರಿಯೇ ಇನ್ನು ದಯ ಬಾರದೆ ದಾಸನ ಮೇಲೆ
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Vishnu, for this. And then there is something of your own you are now creating in the world of music.
Mm-hmm.
The place that you have built at Angamaly, called the Nisarga Art Hub. I mean, a lot has been spoken about it, a lot has been written about it. It has been covered by every print or electronic media for sure. But as a creator of this space, you and your wife are doing something very unique and something very rich. What is that one thing that you feel that you want to contribute through the space that you're building to the world of music?
So first of all, I have to say we did not plan to do this.
Yes.
Again, this happened in our lives very organically. So we were living in Chennai up until the pandemic, and then pandemic kind of forced us to move to Kerala, which is this place Angamaly, which you mentioned, which is my hometown. So forced in the sense that we had a newborn baby back then, and then we thought moving to Kerala would be a better idea, considering that COVID was new and we didn't know what to expect. So we thought we would just move to Kerala and be there for some time. And anyway, nothing was happening in the music scene anyway, or in any any area.
COVID shut the world down completely.
COVID was changed many lives. So we were back in Angamaly, not knowing what to do, just enjoying family time. And then that's when we had this idea that we would construct a house, mud house. We always had this dream of building a mud house. And Kerala, in Kerala we had a bit of land which was inherited, and it is a beautiful nature all around. It's a beautiful piece of land. So we thought, anyway, now, now that we were there for a long time, why not, why not then? That we, so we had this idea of mud house, and then we reached out to a few architects who are into earth construction, and then nothing really materialized, or we were not like really inspired to go with anybody in particular until we saw works of architect VishnuNaad online, and that was like a life-changing moment for us, because we thought, wow, this is something really mind-blowing. It was like nothing that we had ever seen. We never thought a mud construction or mud houses can be so innovative. So we just thought, okay, we'll give him a call and see where it leads to. And then we spoke to VishnuNaad, and he was not particularly, like, he was not very, or at least he didn't sound very interested, because I think that is his way of filtering out a few clients who are, initially very, very keen, and then when it when they really, come to the reality, some people, back out, because they I think he has had some clients who backed out, and then he really wants to make sure people are very serious about this.
Sure.
Because this is a very different type of construction. It takes a long time. It's draining. So we had this initial call, and then he liked the fact that we were musicians, because he had not constructed a house for musicians. So he is a very music loving person. So he agreed to come visit the site, and then once he visited the site, he was all in, because he's like a person who always needs that inspiration from the site. So he always says that site has to inspire him. So for him it clicked. The site really inspired him, and then we had to wait for a long time for him to come up with an initial design, a 3D model. And once he brought this brought the initial design, it was really mind-blowing. It had it is what we see in Nisarga now.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sending in those pictures. And I think the listeners of the podcast, I would urge you to Google search Nisarga Art Hub, Angamaly, or you can just say Nisarga Art Hub, K S Vishnudev. You will get so many beautiful pictures, and what a beautiful place. And
so the idea basically started as a house.
Correct.
Then once this started taking shape, probably towards maybe around halfway through the construction, we were seeing that space was taking shape and evolving, and then we really understood the potential. We thought, wow, this is something that's beyond what we expected. What started as a house, a dream of a house, turned into something bigger. We realized that we should open it to public, and we should use it for a larger cause. And that's when this idea of an art hub originated in our minds. And we thought, this is a great idea for us to have something, to do something, to give something back to the community, to have very organic art, exchange events, collaborations, discussions, with no commercials involved. Because me being an artist, I would dream of a space where I can just go and sing without any expectations, right? Just express what I feel like expressing.
So what kind of artist has Nisarga Art Hub attracted up till now?
So we have kept it very inclusive. That is, we don't want Nisarga to be a space where only certain kind of art forms are featured. We have had multiple varieties of art forms. So we inaugurated the space with a Drupad retreat.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was our first full moon night concert was a Drupad vocal concert by Niloy Hassanji. He's a wonderful musician, and that is when actually we realized that we should do this. We should keep doing this. So after the inaugural Drupad concert that we had at Nisarga, we felt that it was serving a deeper or a greater purpose more than a traditional concert that you usually have or that you experience in an auditorium, because here nature, architecture and music, everything was coming together as a package, and people were able to experience something deep. Because one gentleman came to us and said he was having a very bad day until then, and he was able to go back home with a smile on his face. And then one hip-hop artist had come from Hyderabad. He just wanted to experience, he wanted to try this. He didn't know what to expect, but still he came. He wanted to come experience the whole thing, because it was a 3 days retreat, and at the end of the 3 days retreat, he said he was able to write after a long gap. He was facing some sort of a mental block, creative block. So at the end of the retreat, he was able to write. So these kind of experiences from people who attended the event made us or inspired us to keep this going. And then after that, we have had many different events. I think this weekend we are having our 15th or 16th concert, and this weekend it's a Hindustani Khayal performance, a moonlight event by Maumita Mitraji from Kolkata and her husband Sayak Barwa. He's on the sarod, so it's going to be a vocal sarod concert, moonlight concert. And we also have learning events also, like master classes, discussions, casual jamming sessions. We've had popular artists, we've had theatre performances, fusion, experimental, jazz. I'm trying to remember. We've had many different genres.
It does sound like a magical place, and in fact, I experienced the magic of Nisarga Art Hub thanks to a beautiful Insta reel that you had posted, where our friend Vijay Natesan, who brought us together, and in fact, who drove you today from Mumbai to Pune to have this podcast conversation. Vijay and you sang a duet on the rooftop of this house, which doubles up also as an amphitheater.
Yeah.
And it was the first time that I saw you, I heard you, and I was mesmerized, Vishnu. Also because of what you and Vijay did together. And we have Vijay Natesan over here with us because he's come along with you to my house. Vijay, welcome to the Wings podcast.
Thank you. Glad to be here again.
So, can we have a glimpse of that magic that you and Vishnu did together through the duet in Rag Bhageshri?
Govindamiha Gopikanandakandam Govindamiha गोपिकानन्दकन्दं सानन्दमवलोकयामो मुकुन्दं गोविन्दमिह गोपिकानन्दकन्दं सानन्दमवलोकयामो मुकुन्दम्
तस्वीर बनाए क्या कोई लिखे तुझ पे कविता, रंगों छंदों में समाएगी, रंगों छंदों में समाएगी, किस तरह से इतनी सुंदरता सुंदरता। एक धड़कन है तू दिल के लिए, एक जान है तू जीने के लिए, जीने के लिए। जीवन से भरी तेरी आँखें मजबूर करे जीने के लिए, जीने के लिए। जीवन से भरी तेरी आँखें।
നിലാവിൻ്റെ നാട്ടിലെ നിശാഗന്ധി പൂത്തല്ലോ, നിലാവിൻ്റെ നാട്ടിലെ നിശാഗന്ധി പൂത്തല്ലോ, കളിക്കൂട്ടുകാരനെ മറന്നു പോയോ മാനസമൈനെ വരൂ മധുരം നുള്ളി തരൂ.
So beautiful. Vishnu, Vijay, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
In fact, this whole conversation around the idea of India and Indianness, which is the theme of the season 5 of Wings podcast, exploring this theme through various aspects of human creativity or human endeavor, and today happens to be exploring this idea of India and Indianness through the world of Indian music. And the almost an hour that Vishnu, you and I are kind of in conversation with just now have only kind of got us in touch with the tip of the iceberg,
Right.
of how Indian music is so integral and interwoven into the fabric or the idea called India and Indianness, where we service individuals as if they are the avatar of the Almighty God or the Almighty Spirit, and everything is in service of that Almighty. We started with praying for Lord Krishna, Begane Banne Baro, and then we had the great Purandara composition also, which talked about looking at human existence on this fragile planet called Earth as a momentary reality, a transition which ends as soon as it has begun. The idea of anitya, that is so integral, that everything is transient, everything is temporary, and in those temporary existence that we all have, we have this opportunity to understand who we really are, what is it that we have made of, and what is it that we make of. So the idea of Prakriti, and an idea of Purusha, an idea of Atma, an idea of the infinitesimally small, at the quantum level, at the subatomic level, is also present in a universe which is unfathomable. So this whole concepts of Anadi and Ananta, which is so integral to being Indian, and I think all of us are fortunate to kind of carry that seed in us. And people like you and Vijay are fortunate and blessed, I think, to carry that seed in you of the Anadi and Ananta reality through Swara, through Tala. I mean, as we are kind of coming to the end of this conversation, I would like to invite you, Vishnu, to share your vision of your own music. How do you see it, and how do you see it going forward? As a response to two simple questions. What next? Where next?
I think I'm a person who by nature is very spontaneous. So I just want to be able to follow my heart. That's all I want to do. In future, I just want to have retain this quality of being spontaneous, grab any opportunity, and taking my music wherever music takes me. Because I don't want to believe that I am in control. I want to believe that I've surrendered myself to music, and I'm just a carrier through which musical energy can pass through. So I want to remain a good carrier for music to pass through, as good as it can be. And where, I don't know, I think
one place I know for sure, where you went recently. Nisarga is of course your home. This is where you will always be. So if anybody wants to find Vishnu, you can find him at Nisarga Art Hub in Angamaly. But there is something that you did offbeat in your recent tour to Europe. You went to a cathedral.
Oh, yeah.
And you sang there as well.
Yes.
And there is this beautiful composition of yours, which I would request you, if you can, sing it for us as the concluding part of our conversation, which is our surrender to Mother India, our way of saying Vande Mataram. Because that's what you, I think, sang in... I leave it to you, if you can share where is it that you sang, and if we can end this conversation on that note.
So I had this opportunity to sing Vande Mataram at the Indian Embassy of Ireland, Dublin, in front of the High Commissioner. So I went there for a concert, and I personally wanted to invite him for the concert, and then he asked me to sing a song. So I thought, why not Vande Mataram? What better song to sing, especially abroad at the Indian Embassy. I thought that was the most appropriate, and he appreciated it a lot, and it was a very nice moment.
Indeed, it's a nice and a proud moment for us on the Wings podcast, with a theme called India and Indianness, to listen to you sing Vande Mataram.
Sure. Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram.
सुजला सुभला मलयज शीतला सस्य श्यामला मातरं वन्दे मातरम् शुभ्रज्योत्स्ना पुलकितयामिनी फुल्लकुसुमित द्रुमदलशोभिनी शुभ्रज्योत्स्ना पुलकितयामिनी फुल्लकुसुमित द्रुमदलशोभिनी सुहासिनी सुमधुरभाषिणी सुखदां वरदां मातरं वन्दे मातरं वन्दे मातरं वन्दे मातरं
Thank you so much, Vishnu. You've left me speechless, and I'm sure the listeners of this podcast conversation would also reflect and soak in all that I have been able to put together in the presence of Lord Sri Krishna, whom you invited. And I think I can say for sure, as a human being, as a citizen of the world, I'm equally proud and happy to be a citizen of India, a land which has created this sound that we just experienced, all of us. And you said it so beautifully, of making yourself available through a complete act of submission, to be the medium through which the sound could manifest.
Correct.
As if it's an empty flute, which by itself is nothing, a hollow piece of wood. But all it says to Lord Krishna, that here I am, use me as appropriate. And I think you've just said that as if that's your probably living philosophy as a musician, that I am available, use me as appropriate. So on this note, Vishnu, what are the thoughts and feelings that you're carrying at this point in time? If you can share it as a concluding thought.
Thank you for having me in your podcast. It was wonderful talking to you, and I could share some of the things that I've been carrying with me, my philosophy, my understanding of music. So I think wherever I go, whatever I do, I am an Indian at heart, because that reflects, that manifests in many ways. The very music form that I practice, Carnatic music, is very, very totally diverse in nature, and it is that diversity and that unity in diversity that we all embrace, and that's what I celebrate the most as an Indian. And Carnatic music, as I said in the earlier part of this podcast, intrinsically it is very diverse. It has a lot of languages, a lot of cultures, a lot of different types of compositions, and it has bhakti oriented music, it has shringara, it has folk music. So being a Carnatic musician itself allows me to be as Indian as possible, and this profession, this career allows me to travel all over the world, and helps me express myself and that Indianness that I have at my heart through music. So at this point, I just all I have to say, all I can say is how grateful I am for having been born in this country, and having been born with this gift of music, and having these great opportunities to share music and share my thoughts, and to also to meet great souls like you, to have such meaningful conversations and share some positive energy.
Thank you so much, Vishnu. As they say, may the force be with you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for your time today, my dear listeners. This is your host, Milind Agnihotri, signing off. Goodbye, take care, and stay safe. This podcast is for general information purposes only and should not be considered as a piece of any professional advice. Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of its guest. Creators of this podcast expressly disclaim any and all liability or responsibility for any direct or indirect, consequential or other damages arising out of any individual's use of this podcast. For feedback and suggestions, please write to wingsindia75@gmail.com. Thank you.